Welcome to Manny's TV Talk, where we will talk about all of our favorite reality TV shows and news surrounding them. Grab a snack, a drink, and get comfortable because this starts now.
Old daughter, yes, 10 years. Girl, you better get the out of my face. I'll tell you that. They don't walk up on me.
Wow.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the new episode of Basketball Wives. That's season 11, episode 4. Let's get started. Okay, so the first scene takes place in Evelyn's home. She is back from her Florida trip, so she invited Brooke and Jennifer over, and the ladies pretty much fill her in on everything that happened on this ice skating party, and how a simple question about Clayana and who she was became this unhinged thing with Brittany and Brooke, and she threw a drink at Brooke's face. But tell me why, as Brooke is describing the story about being splashed, Jennifer jumps in and says, I got a little bit wet too. I'm just like, really, Jennifer? She just had to put that in there. But Jennifer says that Clayana actually texted her after that incident and told her if they wanted to meet up for lunch. And Jennifer plans on going, but she's not too excited about it. And she says that she'll definitely ask her about her being a side piece and if that's true. They also ask Evelyn what's going on with her. And Evelyn says she's feeling apprehension on getting married, having second thoughts and some doubts. But I feel like all of this wedding talk at this point is pretty much pointless since they announced their breakup about a week ago. But overall, it was a good scene with them hanging out. And I'm surprised that Jennifer and Evelyn are getting very close and are getting along so well. The next scene is Jazelle and Cleana. They had a good time in the skating party, but Clayana feels like the situation that went down was really started by Jennifer for asking her question in such a messy way about who she was. And she feels like just because they get loud doesn't mean that they're right. And I think that, so Jazelle was very upset on the way that Jennifer asked who she was. And listen, don't get me wrong, like think about it. Imagine if you were coming into a group that's pretty much already been settled in, everybody knows each other, and you're like one of the new ones. It's pretty hard to fit in. So I understand that point of Clayana, but at the same time, you gotta introduce yourself, say what your name is, you know. What do they say, like when they say introduce yourself, name, age, where you're from, or whatever, like just something like that, like because the way that she just came into the party and like just sat there and half of them didn't even know who she was. So I understand that. But another thing that Jazelle says is that she's going to be throwing a party for her fiance, and she's going to need Clayana's help because Clayana specializes in decorating stuff for parties, and she hopes that the group can behave at this event. I gotta say, this made me sort of see the divide of the OGs and the newbies. Like, no doubt about that. Really nice scene after that. Jennifer and her new boyfriend go to a pet store and look at some puppies that they can get. She had another dog for years and years and years, but she feels like now it's the time for her to get a new one. Listen, I'm not an animal person, so it's like whatever, but I get it. For a lot of people, this is a big deal, so I'm happy that they're getting a new puppy. Next is Brittany and Jazelle. They're discussing the chaos that happened, since, you know, it involved Brittany. Brittany says that the energy wasn't right and that she had to do what she had to do. I do like, though, that Jazelle, even though she admits that Brooke was the one who definitely escalated it by standing up and screaming, she also calls out Brittany and says, but you were wrong for throwing the drink. So I really appreciate her doing that to her face, you know, not being fake about it. And she says that she wants things to go smooth at her fiance's party because she doesn't want to be embarrassed in front of her and her whole team. Listen, I like this Jazelle chick. Okay, next up, Jennifer is again with her boyfriend Christian. They're having brunch, and she asks if he can please accompany her to the party that Jazelle's throwing, and he says yeah, so she's really happy about that. Then Natasha, the WNBA player who Jazelle is engaged to, arrives home. We are also getting to know a little bit more about Jazelle because I didn't know she had a kid. Like, she looks too young, and this is not a baby, like 12-year-old maybe. Like, that was surprising. But it looks like she really loves this Natasha player. The next scene is very emotional. So Brooke and Jac'Eil made up last episode. We all saw that. So Jac'Eil goes over to Brooke's house, and Brooke is kind enough to give Jac'Eil a gift. It's a beautiful booklet of her daughter, Kayla, and a lot of pictures. And it's one of those like books that they gave at her memorial. And Jac'Eil is in tears, and she's very thankful that she gave her that. They also talk about the incident, and looks like Brooke has absolutely no remorse and feels like she did nothing wrong. But here's the thing, lovely scene, but I don't know if you guys have been active on social media, Twitter mainly, and a little bit of Instagram, but Brooke and Jac'Eil have been going at it. Brooke has been attacking Jac'Eil relentlessly these past few days, like I think even as far as yesterday. So watching this is a little bit confusing. I'm not sure if we're going to see what happens as the season goes on, but I just wanted to point that out there. Honestly, there's so much that happens online that I feel like we could talk about just the online stuff for an entire video. But then we see Jazelle go to a flower shop and get some flowers for the party. She's actually met there with Vanessa and Brittney, again, the new girls, and they have some dirty talk about the bedroom, and they're just having some fun. Brittany also shares that she's not going to be able to go to the party because she has to host an event in Dallas, so she's not going to be able to make it, and she also hasn't spoken a single word to Brooke. Okay, next up, Jennifer finally meets up with Clayanna for this lunch that she had invited her. And right from the beginning, you guys, the energy was so off. I think, to be fair, Jennifer didn't exactly come with warm, open arms. But at the same time, I mean, it was Clayanna who invited her. But anyway, yeah, the energy was just off. And right from the beginning, Clayanna says, well, the reason I wanted to meet with you was because of the way you were asking those shady questions. But Jennifer was saying that she was simply asking who she was, but Clayanna was the one who came aggressive by that simple question. So Clayanna responds and says, well, if you want to know about me, then tell me, who are you? Who do you know? And that made Jennifer so mad because Clayanna was like coming at her hard and was like, who are you married to? How long were you married? Who was he? Who was your husband? Who are you dating? Like, she was just coming at her, and she was obviously trying to get under her skin. So maybe she was trying to make a point of that's how she felt by Jennifer's questions, but it was just weird. And that's where Jennifer says, like, I don't need to answer to you. This is not an interview. Like, who are you? Is it true that you were a side chick? And they just keep going back and forth, and Clayanna calls her trash, so Jennifer walks away. So Clayanna follows her, and they continue to scream outside in public, and out of nowhere, Clayanna pushes her. Like, she literally gets her arms and pushes her away and says, get out of my face. But I'm like, wait a minute, you're in her face. What the hell? So I guess it's days later, and Jennifer meets up with Jazelle to tell her about what just happened with Clayanna, how her energy was off, she came aggressive, and she attacked her physically. Jazelle is shocked, and she can't believe that about Clayanna because the interactions that she's had with her, like one-on-one, have been very positive. So Jennifer tells her, listen, if she's at the party, I can't go. Which I feel bad for Jazelle having to be put in this position of having to choose, but that's what that was. The next scene is Evelyn and Lavon. It would be nice to see them together if we didn't know in hindsight that they're not together anymore. But in this scene, Evelyn opens up about her hesitation and being nervous about their wedding, and it stems from insecurities that she's experienced in her previous relationships. And don't get me wrong, I feel bad for Evelyn, but Lavon is such a great guy. I think he deserves a woman who is fully in for him and isn't going to be trauma dumping onto him. And this isn't a dig, and it's not shade at all, but I feel like, especially at her age, if Evelyn doesn't get some real help to heal her failed relationships and what that left with her, she's gonna experience this in every relationship. Like, it seems like there's something about her that can't commit. Okay, so then it's time for the party. All of the women start to arrive. Vanessa and Evelyn seem pretty cool still. Kristen comes with Jennifer. The vibes are great. Jac'Eil was a little giddy seeing Jennifer and Chris together. He sort of introduces himself, and if I'm being honest, they're really cute together. I actually hope and wish them love, and I hope that they can stay together. But when they were talking about children and like maybe extending the family, Vanessa does make some shady comments in her confessional. And then the big elephant in the room is, will the youngsters be there? Brittany is in Dallas, so no. And Jazelle had to actually call Clayana a few days earlier to uninvite her. So then the fiance comes, and so did the other girls from the WNBA team, and they begin eating, hanging out, drinking. For a little moment, the OGs were talking about seeing the screaming match of Clayanna and Jennifer on the blogs, and I actually remember seeing that myself. I remember that when this first came out, at the time, somebody had posted a video of Clayanna and Jennifer at the restaurant. They were there, and I think they posted it on Twitter or Instagram, but it just didn't make no sense because we didn't know who Clayanna was. We still don't, but at least we have a little bit more sense of what happened. And then they're just hanging out, and the ladies are asking some questions to Chris, and given Jennifer's past relationships, they better be questioning him. And then they ask Evelyn, where is your ring? And she says, I took it off because I'm simply not ready. And that was the end of the episode. Next week, it looks like Vanessa, remember I told you that she was making shady comments in her confessionals? Well, she's gonna bring up the fact that Chris was incarcerated for 10 years. That's gonna be interesting, and that's definitely going to cause more drama. But as far as this episode, you guys, what are your thoughts about this weird interaction that Clayanna and Jennifer had at the restaurant? And do you think that Jazelle did the right thing by uninviting Clayanna? Let me know in the comments, and anything you want to tell me about the episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time. You have a great one. Bye.